The Leafs have now won 3 straight games. Oh, they're on a little bit of a roll right now. We're going to go with a little bit because it's only 3. But they are winners of 3 in a row. They win 2-1 in overtime against the Vegas Golden Knights. Now, Vegas is a very good team. So anybody thinking, this was going to be an easy game, you're at home, blah, 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 it should be an easy one. You're wrong. You are really, really wrong. The Vegas Golden Knights are a very good team. They're a hard team to play. They play hard every single minute of the night, and you saw that today. Now, people are probably wondering, James, what's going on back here? JVR's back here. What's going on? Well, as you guys might have noticed already, the William Nylander jersey came in. Oh, it feels so nice. Literally a brand new jersey. I love it. I mean, I had the other one for over a year, and then he changes his number, and then you're like, yeah, free jersey. I'm like, okay, I'm fine with that. So it's good to have this one. It feels nice, and it's very, very smooth and nice and new. All right, but let's get to this hockey game, because in the first period, the Leafs actually played pretty good. They let in shots 13-7 after one period of play, but the problem was it's a 0-0 hockey game. Malcolm Subban in net for the Vegas Golden Knights. No Marc-Andre Fleury in action today. Subban was great. I thought he was awesome today for the Vegas Golden Knights. Both goalies were spectacular. We'll get to Freddie in a little bit because I need to talk about him. And in the second period, nothing happens yet again, but the problem is this period, the Vegas Golden Knights play a much better second period, and they win in shots 12-10. However, Frederik Andersen stands tall and does not allow a goal. The Leafs they changed the shots. It was 14-10, in that second period. And for the longest point of that second, the Leafs had no shots until like the 7 minutes left mark in the second period. They had nothing. They couldn't get any offense going. At one point, it was 10-0 in shots for Vegas with about 8 minutes left. And you can clearly see how the Leafs finished off that period. Really strong. They only lost by 4 in shot attempts. But in the end, it's still 0-0 after 2 periods of play. So you can say, well, the shots on goal, the Leafs were still in favor by... It doesn't matter. It's 0-0. It's 0-0. It does not matter. Whoever plays the better third period is going to be the winner of this hockey game. In the third period, a point shot, it was a weird one because it bounced around a few times. Cody Ceci gets it on his tape. He tries to knock it to the far corner. Instead, he doesn't get a lot of juice on it, and it literally goes right on the tape of Pacioretty. And he's got a wide open cage to shoot it into, and he does. You see Cody Ceci afterwards, he's kind of down like, you gotta be kidding me. A 0-0 game and you give up that, oh my God. And the Leafs are down 1-0. But then the Buds get a power play. Their 6th power play of the game. And I mean, the Vegas Golden Knights, they had 5. There was 11 penalties. Again. What is up with these official whistles? I mean, it's incredible. But the Leafs did a great job killing off all 5 power plays for the Vegas Golden Knights. It was a great job there. But on the power play for the Leafs, Austin Matthews, the catalyst. He took at least 3 shots. And then he picks up the loose puck. Kind of does a curl at the half boards, gets around the hash marks, and just straight up rips it. I mean, look, Austin Matthews has one of the prettiest wrist shots I've seen. I mean, there's a lot of players out there who have really good shots. But Matthews literally just walked right in, Subban ready for it, and he goes bar down. I mean, it's just nasty. And he ties the game at 1. Just 4 minutes afterwards. That's what happens to the Leafs usually. Now goals are scored, then you finally score one, you think you're going to win it, and then not long after, you give up one and you tie it. And the Leafs are able to do so against the Knights, Golden Knights, John Tavares, Morgan Riley grab us in the play. By the way, John Tavares could not hit a barn door today. We'll get to him in a second, though, because things changed. And then the Leafs take a late third period penalty, which is going to carry into overtime if it gets there. Of course, because that seems to be the normal lately. How many times have the Leafs had penalties in overtime? Now, this one obviously didn't happen in overtime. It was before, and there's only like 40 seconds left heading into overtime. But my goodness, just ridiculous. I don't know how this keeps happening to us. But nonetheless, the Leafs do a great job killing off that penalty, including some ridiculous saves from Frederik Andersen. Morgan Riley blocks a shot and goes down, and then 2 quick shots from the Golden Knights, but both. Frederik Andersen is standing tall, makes a huge 2 saves. Then it comes back to the point. He gets with a blocker, knocks to the side, and the buzzer goes, and we head to overtime. Freddie, a big reason of why this team even got a point in this one. Shots were 15-12 in favor of the Golden Knights there in the third period. Arguably, I'm going to say it's a lot of the shots, or at least the bulk of their shots there, were in the final minute and 21 seconds of that of the third period where they're on the power play. But I'd say at least they had 4 or 5 shots in that time. So Freddie did a great job steering those aside. Then we go to overtime, the 40 seconds obviously for the Golden Knights, and Frederik Andersen does a great job. His rebound control was impeccable in overtime. He smothered at least two attempts. And the big thing for the Leafs, the huge thing for the Leafs, is the defensive zone faceoffs on the penalty kill in 4-on-3 overtime. I mean, you got to win the draw and get the puck down the ice. And if I'm not mistaken, on both opportunities, when they had, or at least the one right off the draw to start overtime, they got the puck, they dumped it down. And then late in the power play, same thing. Win the faceoff, dump it down. Winning draws in your defensive end is huge, especially when you're trying to kill a penalty. And the Leafs did that there in OT, and I'd say it's a huge reason of why they won this game. Because imagine if they lost those draws. Imagine if they lost that the defensive zone faceoff. Then they have zone time. It's a 4-on-3, lots of space to move the puck. And who knows, there could be a puck in the back of the net and the game's over. But instead, they clear it, they kill the penalty, and then William Karlsson at one point gets the puck at the point. Doesn't see Mitch Marner. He does not see Mitch Marner on the sideboards. Kind of has a little soft pass trying to bank it off the boards. Yeah, he banks her right to the tape of Mitch Marner. And him and John Tavares come down on a 2-on-1 with a forward back. That's usually a disaster waiting to happen. You kind of saw the way William Karlsson tried to defend that 2-on-1, and that's why he's a forward, ladies and gentlemen. And a beautiful feed from Mitch Marner to the tape of John Tavares to the back of the net as he buries his first since coming back from the injured list, his 4th goal of the year, and the Leafs win it in overtime. Now we can argue, well, they didn't play a great game, or they didn't play great against Philly. Who cares? The last 3 games, they got 6 points. They won 3 in a row. They don't ask how you win. They ask if you won. And the Leafs, check mark, they won this game today. Yes, was it pretty? Gosh, no. Not even close. But is it 2 points that we're going to take and move on? Absolutely. Now, my player of the game, no doubt, 100%, Frederik Andersen. This guy kept this team in the game when they were god-awful in the second period. He made big save after big save after big save. He allowed 1 goal on 38 shots. Made 37 stops, a save percentage of .974. And where are those Leaf fans that were in October complaining about Frederik Andersen? Because we hear it all October. Every October that Frederik has a bad start. Oh, Frederik Andersen's terrible. He's terrible. Then he has a great November and the rest of the year, and everyone's like, wow, Frederik Andersen is so good. How about you stick with them or you just don't like them? All right? I've been a guy that's tried to back Freddie up all the time, knowing what he is. And you're seeing right now, over the last 3 games, why Frederik Andersen is the #1 goaltender for the Toronto Maple Leafs. That is why you are seeing it. Now, obviously, we want to see this in April, May, and possibly June. But for right now, we're seeing Freddie kind of get into form, feel good. That's what we're seeing right now from Frederik Andersen, and he is looking spectacular. I mean, there's nothing less. He is giving everything he can for this team. The Leafs had no offense in that second period, but he finds ways to make some huge saves to keep this team even afloat. And then they give up that third period goal. You can't blame him for that. But then the Leafs finally score a goal, but it took them being down 1-0 to score it. And Austin Matthews seems to be the only flipping guy scoring. Where's Andreas Janssen? Mitch Marner, yeah, he's had some assists. But again, what does he have? He's got 4 goals. This guy was a 20-goal scorer, almost a 30-goal scorer last year. Obviously now Tavares is back and he hit the net there on that overtime goal. Thank goodness, because he's been missing so many shots. But a great shot there by Tavares. It goes actually off the arm of Malcolm Subban, but is in the back of the net. That's what matters. And that's what happened. I'm really hoping Morgan Riley's okay. I'm pretty sure he is, because he took that block shot late in the third period. It looked like I think he was going to leave the game. But he came out in overtime, and he looked okay out there. So I'm happy to see that for Morgan. Again, guys like, where is he? Kasperi Kapanen. I mean, the guy's got 10 points in 16 games. Well, okay, I'm not going to complain too much. But a guy like Andreas Johnsson, I haven't heard much about him. He's got 10 points in 16 games. But again, he's a guy that I haven't really seen much of. Tonight, I didn't see him at all. Matt, you didn't see a lot of Leaf guys that kind of stood out. Now, Leaf fans, with Martin Marincin, last thing I'm going to talk about before we wrap this thing up. Martin Marincin and Nick Batan were placed on waivers. First off, can somebody just take Martin Marincin, please? Because I don't want him here anymore. I really don't. But both those guys were placed on waivers. You know what I'm sniffing? A Zach Hyman return. And I know you guys are probably going to say, well, he's not going to make that big of a difference. That guy is going to do a hell of a lot for this team. He penalty kills for one. And you look at that Marner and Tavares line, that line hasn't dominated this year like they did last season. We all can see that. However, with Zach Hyman getting back on the ice, that team, Trevor Moore's been great. And I'd love to see Trevor Moore with that Matthews line. I'd love to see him up there with that Nylander and Matthews line, or even Zach Hyman up there. I want to see either Trevor Moore or Zach Hyman on the top line, and I want to see either Trevor Moore or Zach Hyman on that Tavares line. That's where I want to see those two guys. Unfortunately, probably Trevor Moore is going to be plopped down, which I don't think I'm a huge fan of, but that's just my opinion on that. But because I think a guy like Andreas Johnsson, I think Kapanen and Kerfoot on that third line, that'd be a ridiculously solid offensive third line. But again, it's not my choice. It's Mike Babcock, and he seems to be very stubborn with lines, but that's okay. But good news is, it looks like Zach Hyman might be returning even by this weekend. The next game for the Leafs is on Saturday at home against Philly. The Leafs look for their fourth straight win. They look for back-to-back wins against the Flyers. They'll beat them last weekend as well. I think it was last weekend they played the Philly in Philly. I think it was. Was it last Saturday? Yeah, it was last Saturday. It's a front night of a back-to-back because I think they head to Chicago afterwards, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, they head to Chicago afterwards. So the Leafs, look, they go for 4 straight wins against a Philadelphia Flyers team. But I think they've won a few games in a row now. They're 8-5-2. They've won a couple games in a row, so they're feeling good right now. So for the Leafs, you got to go out there and you got to pummel them down. You're at home now. You did a great job on the road, finding a way to win that 11-round shootout. Now you got to find a way and do it at home. If you can find a way to do that, you've won 4 straight. You're now 10-5-3, and your record looks so much better. The Leafs have now jumped to 3rd in the Atlantic Division. I guess technically as of right now, they've played 2 more games than the Buffalo Sabres. The Leafs are 1 point above the Sabres for 2nd in the... If this could stay like this the rest of the year, I'll be okay with that. With Boston number 1, that's fine. They can have number 1. As long as Tampa doesn't wake up, even though they probably will at some point. But for Leaf fans, you enjoy this victory, you rewatch, you enjoy, and then when Saturday hits, you focus on the Flyers. It looks like Carter Hart and Frederik Andersen are the expected starters in that game on Saturday. All right, so guys, that is going to do it for this one. If you guys enjoyed this video and you guys enjoyed the game there this evening, smack that like button. Do appreciate that. Hit the subscribe button if you guys have not already. Comment down below your guys' thoughts in the game, your thoughts in the video. Who is your MVP? No question, mine is Frederik Andersen. If you have any other opinions and options, go ahead, let me know in the comments below. All right, Twitter is down below for myself. Follow up, send me a DM, guys. Do all that great stuff, and I will talk to you guys Raptors edition. If I'm not mistaken, they are tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow night, 8 p.m. tip-off there in New Orleans as the Raps start their, I think it's a 5-game road trip starting in New Orleans tomorrow night, like I said, as the Raps look to get to keep on a nice roll. They had a nice win there against Sacramento in their last game. They look to continue on that roll there tomorrow against the Pelicans, all right? And as for the Buds, as we talked about, their next game is on Saturday against the Philadelphia Flyers. Carter Hart, Frederik Andersen are the expected goaltenders in that game on Saturday. 7 p.m. puck drop. Flyers, Leafs. It's going to be a doozy. Leafs looking for 4 straight. Talk to you guys then.